Welcome to the Jones Zone, a podcast by Darryl and JJ Jones.
Hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for similar content. We have videos explaining escrow, title insurance, how to get top dollar for your house, mistakes sellers make all the time, how to evict a bad tenant, and so much more.
Pokemon cards, for instance, had an auction, had unopened Pokemon cards from late 90s, early 2000s. The last time I looked at the bidding, we were up over $35,000 just for a box of Pokemon cards that nobody opened.
Say that again. Oprah had a show on what to do. Some people that couldn't part from things. She said, just take a picture of them. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jones Zone. Today we have Barb Bloxom. She works for Caring Transitions. This is a topic that comes up a lot. What she does is she helps elderly people who need help packing and moving and getting into either a rest home or... Barb, tell us what you do.
Anybody that's really looking to downsize, but most of our customers and clients are moving to an assisted living facility or memory care. So we assist with the whole process of moving, packing. We're the only company that really focuses on everything from start to finish.
Caring Transitions, it's a franchise.
Correct. Yeah, there's just over 400 of us nationwide. We're growing. Last year, we probably had, I believe, the most growth we've had probably for a little bit of time. So it is growing really, really quickly. And as the demand of the older people and the demographics of the senior population is growing also to meet up with that demand. So
I'd be shocked if you don't continue to grow. It's just, like I said, it's an enormous portion of my clientele. This is just what a need. You were telling me earlier that you don't only work with elderly people, but you are there like disabled people or just even the average person that wants to move that doesn't want to hassle with it?
I don't know of anybody. I have even people that maybe they have a collection, I don't know, of Funko Pops or Garbage Pail Kids cards. Like that, even that kind of thing. So a lot of that sort of pop culture stuff right now is starting to get some traction. Pokemon cards, for instance, we had an auction. I didn't. It was another franchise in another part of the country, but had unopened Pokemon cards from, I guess, the late 90s, early 2000s. The last time I looked at the bidding, we were up over $35,000 just for a box of Pokemon cards that nobody opened.
Say that again. 35,000.
Yeah, for a box of Pokemon cards that nobody had opened yet.
And this was through your auction site.
Through our auction, yeah. I don't know what the final total was. It was a few months ago, but I was like, seeing it, and I was like, holy moly. So those are big things. The sports cards are still, what their rating is, that kind of thing. But we're seeing sort of a turn towards a lot of pop culture sort of things, like the Pokemon, the Game Boy, like... You got old concert shirts from the 90s. Oh my gosh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I sold 5 concert shirts, new wave concert shirts, for $525, I think, for 5 of them.
You're getting pretty detailed, meaning you got a dresser of drawers and a closet full of clothes. I guess it doesn't take forever to look at them, but still you go through and you look at each item because you might find some hidden gems there, huh?
Yeah, I always tell everybody, do not get rid of anything before you have me there. Don't do donation. Do not have a garage sale. Like, let me just come and quickly look at least what you have before, even if you're getting antsy and want to get the process started. Because a lot of times they got a whole bunch of stuff in a box and they're going to take it to donation. I go, oh, no.
That Led Zeppelin shirt is going to go for $150 or whatever. Do you have a story of maybe, I don't know, I love music. So do you have a shirt that kind of compelled a number that you thought was wow?
I had Depeche Mode, Echo and the Bunnymen, New Order, and I think I had 2 Depeche Mode and one other one from the early 90s. And they sold to somebody in Tennessee for the $525.
Bands like Zeppelin, sorry, I'm probably going off track here, but like Zeppelin or the Stones or the Who, they have so many of them that a little bit more obscure niche shirt would compel more money. That's interesting. That's really interesting stuff.
And they want the ones that aren't reproduced that you can buy at Walmart. Collectors want the original old concert shirts. So you got old concert shirts, like, don't get rid of them. Like, your kids might have them or they left them there, whatever the case. Yeah, we can. That's what a lot of people are buying now too. So,
And it's just one-stop shop. I tell you, I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits when you can just have your company. And so you said we, it's typically either you and or your team. Your team consists, I'm guessing it's also depends on the size of the house, anywhere from 2 to 5 people, or is 5 too many?
that's what we're doing. We're doing packing. I have usually the girls go and do the packing and, helping the client out with the downsizing part of it. I'm there on a lot of jobs. I do sometimes run multiple jobs in one day, so I can't be everywhere. But, and if we're doing a clean out, for instance, I don't necessarily need to be there all day. I just tell the guys, the muscle, this is what needs to get done, fly at it, kind of thing. And, if you have help, I always tell everyone, they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much work to do. I'm like, if you've got help, it's like a game changer. All of a sudden, you've got 2 or 3 people helping you. And then all of a sudden, in 3-4 hours, they're like, oh, wow, you got a lot done. Holy crow. And, because I guess it takes, on average, a family to sort of assist either their family members or their inherited their family's home about 9 months to go through it and get everything ready.
If they didn't have you.
Exactly, because and even if they have 2 or 3 local children, everyone's really busy and they got kids and soccer practice and they're all over the place all the time, so it's hard for them to go in and kind of start going through stuff, as well as the emotional attachment to things, and the stories behind everything, which we love. We love the stories behind items that people are selling too. A lot of times clients will keep a little write-up of where they got something, for instance. They're like, oh, I was on a cruise in Russia with my first husband and 1952 or whatever the case. So then we get a little story behind it. So those are the things that we like, just assisting the clients and just honoring their memories and their items and giving their items a new home with people that are really going to enjoy them too. And that's what I just had a last client just absolutely over the moon happy with her sale. And then I also let her stay there with auction pickup because I thought it would be good for her. And she thought it was so therapeutic just to have people come in and just say, oh my gosh, what beautiful things, your family had or has, and they would give it a new home and they're going to really enjoy it. So
do you have a protocol for, it was funny. I think it was my wife told me once where Oprah had a show on what to do. Some people that couldn't part from things, and she said they clearly didn't need them. It's just take a picture of them. You ever had anything like that to where you put together a photo? Did that.
Yeah, she just went through the house and took a whole bunch of pictures. She's like, now I have pictures. Now if I, want to look at them again, I have the picture. So
go through memory lane. Barb, what would be the cost to unload, for lack of a better term, a moderately occupied 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot house? It's not a porter's house. It's just a normal house.
That's going to really vary on, obviously, the density is probably what you're thinking of, how many, what's in there, versus if we can have a sale or an auction. Typically do that, if we can, to sort of offset the cost of, taking everything away. Right. Now, it might be, if we hauled everything away, we can look in the ballpark sometimes $3,000. Got a full garage, full attic, full sheds of items that still maybe aren't sellable. Then maybe you're looking at $8,000.
It can get offset if there's some hidden. If they've got a bunch of Echo and the Bunnyman shirts in the closet, you can offset that.
Yeah, a lot of times I deal with clients too that aren't necessarily, money's not always a driving force behind what they want to do with their
convenience.
items.
Oh, yeah.
And I have had people so attached to their stuff that, that they've had for 50, 60 years, which I completely understand. They just want to sell it, even if it's not going to make a ton of money, just because they want to give it a new home and they just don't want to take it to a donation center. So I do have clients like that are really just like, I can't imagine my items going to donation. So I go, okay, well, we'll have a sale. It might not gross you a whole lot of money, but it will help to offset the cost. You'll give your items a new home. And then we'll do the clean out at the same time. And your house, it needed to be cleaned out. And you're all settled in your new place already.
What are the most common concerns you get? Because you see it better than anybody, things I haven't even thought to ask you. So what are typically concerns of people that hire you?
Cost is sometimes an issue. Time. Usually the time is the biggest factor. I have a client I'm going to go see next week, but she is helping her mom, who just had a stroke recently, move to assisted living. And she is more concerned about, I don't have the time. I have kids, I have grandkids I take care of. The family's just not around to really assist with a lot of the stuff. So definitely the timeline of getting things done really quickly. And like I said, a typical move is 1 to 2 days packing, 1 day for the move part, 1 day for the unpack, and maybe 1 day for a clean out. So, within 5 days, we can have your house totally emptied if we're not doing some kind of sale.
One thing comes to mind. How about the trust? How do you get someone to trust you? Do you have, because, if it's, for example, especially if it's a home that someone's inheriting, they're not sure what hidden jewels are there. Do you have like past clients that will verify? How's that part work?
I have great Google reviews. I can definitely put them in touch with a whole list of clients that I'm sure would be happy to talk to them about it. I have really very trustworthy clients. For instance, I had a hoarder situation, but it's all brand new stuff, but full house of stuff. That she had dementia and she had moved away. I never actually met the lady, and she had money in all kinds of places, all over. She had it
pockets.
in
You had
boxes,
it everywhere.
purses, drawers, pockets of clothing. So we really went through that house. We were there for quite a bit of time, just trying to make sure we got, every money that she might have had. And my staff literally just grabs it and they just give it to me, and I let the client know that this is where it's going to be in the home.
What's the most amount of cash? Have you any stories about any amount of cash?
Nothing
obnoxiously
super crazy,
high?
a couple
Okay.
$1,000s, nothing super huge or anything. But we will also, I just had another client that had another company come and do a sale for her, but I'm going back to do another one because she's got so much stuff. But they ended up taking a bunch of stuff that was from the 1800s that was her mother's and her
Wow.
grandmother, or I guess it would have been her grandmother's, and her family's stuff. And she's like, I'm not sure if they did it on purpose, but I'm like, if we find anything that looks like a family history, a book, obviously money, jewelry, that maybe be in a weird spot that you wouldn't have known, like, we just put it aside on a table and let you know, hey, I just found this death certificate or a marriage certificate or something that may have fallen behind a cupboard or that nobody's seen forever. We just put it aside and just let them know that it's there. So
Yeah, I had
yeah.
some clients that found so I think it was $60,000 worth of, I think it's
Wow.
bond certificates or
Okay.
certificates that, that was pretty crazy. So what are the most common mistakes people made? I have a feeling you already answered this question. You mentioned that people get rid of stuff before you even come over. But other than that, what are the most common mistakes people may make when they're doing this?
Probably interviewing other companies and not asking the right questions. So if I'm going to see a client, and I'm sure most clients are like, I'm going to get a couple different, estate sale companies, for instance, to come over. I actually have a list of questions that they should be asking the estate sale company.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, with me.
Yeah, dart them all out.
Yeah.
What questions should person ask?
Ask if they've got, W-2 employees or 1099, where they get their employees from, how long they've had their employees, if they have business insurance, and workers' comp insurance is a big one. People don't have that, the workers' comp part of it. Business insurance, not so hard to get. Workers' comp, so you have people on payroll that you're not just pulling off the street, because a lot of the companies deal just only in cash also, and then they just pay their cash to the people that work there that day. So, and I go to estate sales, I scope out what's going on, that sort of thing. I had a client, all the stuff that was in her mother's home to a company that actually didn't even have any insurance. So there was a flood somewhere where they had some stuff kept, and they lost everything. And the company, it was a moving company, moving and storage probably, lost everything, and they just didn't have any business insurance or any commercial insurance, so they lost everything out of that house.
Yikes.
So you just don't know. You just assume that, oh yeah, they've got insurance, or whatever the case. And a lot of times I'll bring my insurance policy with me, or give them a copy of it and be like, here's the copy of my liability, and that kind of thing. So just making sure they have a company that that has some good reviews or has a good reputation, because it's completely unregulated. The estate sale company, there, the whole everything. Nobody regulates it. You can open Mary and John's estate sales and have 5 or 6 sales. Something bad happens or whatever the case may be, and you just go, "Oh, that was fun. Okay, I'm going to open another one, and I'm going to call it, Lou's estate sale company now." And make it all brand new again. So there is just, we have a franchise behind us also. So if there is anything that does, that's tragically happens, that, something where the client feels that should not be happening, we do have, headquarters that does monitor, obviously our transactions and oversees that part of it. But you got to be really careful. There are just so many estate sale companies. That's why the online auction is a really good way to get rid of things, because our bidders and buyers are already pre-vetted. So we already know their phone number, their credit card, their email address, where they live, their name.
And it's
like
published.
Everything.
I'm guessing that the auction will show, people can watch it. Ironically, I just bought a car through that that same system. And my point is the client can actually see what it sold for, because it shows it online. Is that true with yours?
You can watch it live and see what it closes for. You actually can go in there and search out. You can get really detailed. You can search a certain location and find out what they sold things for.
So the client will feel comfortable.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I'll sometimes, if somebody's concerned about what they have and maybe what the selling price has been in the past year or two, I can actually go in, hunt those things down, and send them a whole bunch of screenshots or a whole bunch of information on what they have and what's, and it will vary greatly.
But the auction, if they sell it, then it'll show what it's sold for.
Yeah, for sure.
But you do that for estimate. So where do you get most of your business?
Realtors and senior living communities are where I get most, and word of mouth, referrals, neighbors of somebody, get a lot of that too. So.
And then where is your primary? I mean, the house you're doing for a client of mine was in the city of Placentia.
Yeah.
Do you have an area or region?
My
that you work
own territories where I actually own the zip codes are Tustin and Orange.
Okay.
But I do a lot of work in Yorba Linda, Anaheim Hills. Oh goodness, I've been out to Diamond Bar. I've been out to Norco, Chino. Oh my goodness, Fullerton. I've got somebody coming up for that. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place.
Let's end it with this. If someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way? Phone number, email, website? Give us everything.
You can get me directly this way. So it's 714-244-8648.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I think I'm not surprised that business is good, because like I said, oh boy, an enormous number of clients that are needing your services. So I'm probably going to be talking to you again shortly as well. And anybody that's looking to need Barb's services, call her. And Barb, I can't thank you enough for doing this podcast with us. I think it's just a great thing you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe for more.